Hey, what's up, guys? OTA, Online Trainer Academy, PTDC, and all its affiliates. First, let me apologize for coming on a little bit after scheduled time. We've got busy folks that we interview, and we had to get everything right set up because we got a ton of tremendous information for you today. But let's kick it off. My name is Ren Jones. I am the owner of Fitness Jones Training. I am a first-year online trainer graduate. So I went through the OTA the first time. And before we get started with anything else, I got to give you guys some information about the highly wealthy online trainer. So what we want you to do is we want you to type in your information down below. Let us know where you're viewing this live from, and you get a chance to get the box set of the highly wealthy online trainers. Speaking of highly wealthy online trainers, my main man, my new best friend, Adam Blake is here. He's going to share some insight with us, but I'm going to let him introduce himself and just give us an indication of how you got into the business, because we love a good origin story around here.
Okay.
Share us how you got your start in fitness.
Okay, so first I would like to, it's actually my fault we're on late. I'd like to apologize. If any of you, I know most of you watching are trainers, I'm sure you know the deal. When a client is late, then another client is late, and it just adds and adds up. So my apologies for that. I started as a trainer. I did my first personal training session in 2002. I started as a martial arts instructor in New York City, which was something I was doing between tours with my band, which is a whole separate story. And I was awful, quite frankly. I was a terrible trainer. I didn't know what I was doing, but it was kind of the Wild West. It was before the internet, before there was a lot of the good information that's out there now. And then since then, I've fortunately got a little better and learned a lot along the way. And I've been working in the field ever since.
So did you always have the bug, the training bug? Like how did you get into wellness in particular? What was the spark?
Okay, so
for me, it was comic books.
It actually started with like I got fat. You know, like I just didn't like what I was seeing in the mirror anymore. Like I just mentioned, I was touring a lot as a musician and eating a lot of junk food and drinking every night, and then I just wasn't looking or feeling good. So I started my wellness and fitness journey with martial arts. I went to a martial arts academy in New York City. I started training religiously. I would be there every single day. And then, like anything in life, if you apply yourself, you get good. And I developed some skills. And then I started teaching classes there. And then from teaching classes, I started getting personal clients. And the original clients I got were all self-defense oriented. And then I started getting people that wanted to lose weight. And, I kind of taught as I had been taught, and I ran them through the grinder, stair sprints and burpees and pad work till they vomited. And I thought I was a good trainer because I basically broke them down. But luckily at the academy I was training at, there were some educated fitness professionals who kind of saw what I was doing, took me aside, explained, that I didn't need to kill everybody I was working with, and put me on the right path. And I realized that I had a love for it. And when you have a love for it, you develop skill, you develop a knack for it. And it's what I've been doing ever since, and I love it dearly.
So you talked a little bit about throwing people through the grinder.
Yeah.
And I know, the overall context of this session is give your clients what they need.
Yes.
Define how you come to terms or come to grips. How do you actually figure out what they need versus what you feel like you need to give them?
Well, that's changed a lot over the years. So now if someone comes to me and they tell me they want to lose 20 pounds, right? I might be sitting watching them have kind of a shaky squat, for example, but I have to pull the reins back a little bit and sneak in the correctives where I can, but I have to keep an eye on what they came to me for. Like a lot of people out there, they don't know what they don't know, right? So if I'm going to have somebody sit down and do squat correctives for 15 minutes, they're not going to feel like they're getting what they paid for, right? So to give them what they need, you have to sneak it in like as a side dish to what they want. you know? So the way I do it is from an actual tactical standpoint is I'll have them do correctives and mobility work on their breaks between strength or metabolic work, which I think seems to be, you know, a fairly, you know, proven way to do it. And that seems to be working quite well when it comes to giving them what they need.
Absolutely. So talk to us a little bit about sort of your scheduling, but prior to OTA, and how your life and your business is scheduled at this point on the other side of completion of OTA.
So what I started like just basically saying yes to everybody. I was doing at-home sessions. I was doing, you know, I was doing corporate stuff. I was training Speedo corporate. I was working at 2 or 3 different gyms. And one of the things I got right away from the OTA was looking at your life as from the big picture, right? Like making sure that you have a balance and that you're not overworked and you're not pushing yourself, you know, taking on too much. And literally I started kind of, that was one of the main things I got. So now my schedule's great. Now I done for the day. I work in the mornings. I have the entire afternoon to myself. I dedicate 2 days a week, 2 afternoons a week purely to online clients. But, you know, when I did the OTA, I thought it was great. And then I just kind of just did it my own way anyway. And then I realized that I should have probably stuck to the plan that was given. And now I've gone back and revisited and kind of done things the way that I learned there, and everything is a lot better for me. Like my schedule's a lot better. I'm a lot happier. I'm not someone that wants to be an online trainer exclusively. I love going in the gym. I love working with people one-on-one. I love like the banter, the back and forth. But I do love that I'm able to have an online side to my business. And I love that when I travel or when my clients travel, that I have a template and a skill set that I can give to them to train with, even if I'm not physically present. And for me, as someone who travels quite a lot with my band, that was the most valuable thing I got from the OTA. Like, you know, even if you don't want to be an online trainer, even if that's not what you're interested in, like being able to take care of clients when you are not physically present with them is a very valuable asset. You know, whether you travel or your clients travel, it's usable for both. And that to me has been the biggest thing I've got out of it. Like, I mean, I'm leaving for tour for a month next week, and I know my clients are going to be training, and I know what they're going to be doing, and I know that how we're going to be interacting, and I know that I'm going to come back and hopefully they're going to be in better shape than when I left them. So that's awesome. Like, I love that about it.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you said 2 key things in that explanation. And I want to go back and touch on, because I really want to highlight these 2 things, because you explained them so well for the online community out there. Number 1, you said saying no. Talk to us, take us deeper into that part of what you just said.
So I realized that I was essentially running myself very thin, and I'm a believer in the straw does break the camel's back, right? You might have maybe maybe 12 clients and you're doing a great job. You take on that 13th client and everybody's stuff just drops and you're not that good anymore, right? You've taken on that one thing too much. And I would say yes to a lot of that. Now I'm very particular about schedules. Like, if you want to train it, if you're someone that wants to train in the early evening, I'm not your guy, because I know if I take that on, I'm going to be unhappy, and I know that's going to bleed into everything else that I do. So now I'm much more particular. In the beginning, like I think a lot of people, I just jumped at every opportunity, and there's nothing, I think there's nothing wrong with that. But I think as soon as you can realize that this can be the best job in the world, but you have to begin with the end in mind and kind of be willing to say no to things now in order to get maybe something better later. So yeah, that's huge for me. Like, I can honestly say, like, I found a perfect work-life balance, which is, something I didn't have for a long time.
Absolutely. And that's so crucial. And the other thing you said in that last explanation, I think is probably even more important than this, because there are probably a lot of people out there. And you said quite simply, hey, look, I don't want to be a 6-figure sit by the computer trainer. I want to get in there with people. I like getting in there with people. And I think sometimes, and we're in the same groups here, we're in the Online Trainers Unite, etc. And I think sometimes people feel sort of conflicted about what actually serves them as trainers. Speak a little bit more to the fact that it's okay to do both or more of one and less of the other. Talk a little bit about how you found that balance in what you love and what assists what you love.
So for sure, I started when I did the OTA, I had these visions of like being an exclusively online trainer, like a lot of people do. And I actually got like a fairly sizable client base, and I realized that I would miss being in the gym, so I love, like I said, I love being a trainer. I love being out there, but having that ability to coach people online is extremely valuable. And the skills I learned in the OTA, I even apply. Like, we have small group classes of 8 people, right? And their programs get delivered to them, and they work off an app in the gym with trainer supervision, right? Using the skills that I developed through the OTA. So there's a lot of different ways you can apply this stuff. Like, you don't have to, you don't have to be the guy that's sitting at his laptop in the coffee shop 5 days a week. You can do, you can be in the gym. You can use this stuff with your current clients who travel, if you travel. I mean, it really does kind of take training and all the skills that you have and help you apply them in the 21st century using the technology that we have. And, for me, it's been invaluable. Like, I can't give enough credit to it. Like, it was a real game changer. So yeah, it's been awesome.
100%. That's so important, because again, I think there's this misconception that there's one way to do this thing. That John, I'm going to throw a tagline in here for OTA. OTA, there's no wrong way to do it. And I'm going to give Adam Blake the credit on that, if you don't mind. I'm a gracious man, Adam. I can't help it. I'm a giver. But you said something else in that context that's also important, and you gave us sort of some insight to this earlier. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing, right?
Not at all. I mean,
dive into that for us.
Yeah, well, you're getting it's like learning a language, right? Like, we all speak English, but we all have our own turns of phrase and our own way of communicating, and it really just does give you a very usable, and I would say simple in some ways, and an accessible way to deliver online training and to market yourself. And whether you choose to market yourself as an online trainer or an in-person trainer, essentially the skills are the same, right? And actually, something that I really, really will tell people is forget training. Like, the marketing skills you'll learn in the OTA will transcend venue. Like, if you want to go into something completely different, these are skills that you will take with you and will be useful. So for me, it's been, I've honestly got as much out of the OTA for my in-person business as I did for my online clients. So don't believe that you have to go all in on it. Like, you can, and I know people who do, but you can put it into a bigger picture, right? And a few extra bucks a month doesn't hurt anyone. You know what I mean? So it's been great for me.
That's absolutely the case. What was your schedule like specifically, Adam, when you were touring, only training people in person? You said that you were also working with small groups at the time, or you do now at least.
The small groups are better now because we use the stuff I learned in the OTA. Like that back then, it was pen and paper. It was rough. Like, I felt like I was running, is the best way I can put it. Like a full sprint all the time. Like, I would have my clients, I would come home, I would have a little break in which I would, try and get myself together, go back to the gym. At that point, I was doing 3 different sessions. So I'd have my morning, which was fairly full. I'd have an early afternoon that, and then I'd have the evening, and it was too much. Now, I was, like I said earlier, I was willing to say no to some things, but because I was willing to kind of wait. Now my schedule's perfect. Like, I wouldn't change anything. Like, I'm a naturally early riser, which is great. And, most of my days I'm done by 11:30 or noon, and I have the rest of the day to do as I please. So That to me is a massive win. That to me is the biggest win. Like being able to do what you love, do enough of it that you still love it, not so much that you hate it. And then with the touring, that's something that's ongoing. Like I'm regularly, last year I was out of the country for about 3 months. This year, probably I'll be on the road for 2.5, 3 months. And like I said, being able to take care of your clients, having a skill set and a know-how on what to do with your people. And people like it too. People like getting their workouts delivered. They like that you reach out to them via, an app's messaging system or whatever system you choose to use. They feel like you care more, which is, when they go on vacation, I give them the workouts to do. Most of them don't do it. Disclaimer, they're busy sitting on the beach, but they like that I'm there in some capacity. So yeah, awesome.
It almost seems like it almost seems like they're bragging on the luxury of their training system.
Yeah. Many is the client I know who has shown their app to a friend, you know what I mean, or their workout to a friend, or the messages to a friend, or whatever it is. Like, look at this, I mean, people like that stuff. They like to have the new thing, right? And this is definitely the new thing. Like, and I think if you don't get on this bus, you're leaving, for want of a better word, gains on the table, right? Like life gains.
I'm telling you guys, Adam's nailing this thing, because clients love to brag on the system that you give them, right? And like you said, they may not do an inch of it on vacation, but they'll show everyone.
Yeah, they like that they have it. They care. It shows that you care. It shows that extra layer, and that it's something that I definitely, when I'm selling to a new client, in person, I definitely bring that up. Like, you go on vacation, I got you. Your workouts are square. And they won't just be cookie cutter, they'll be delivered based on what we're doing at home to keep you progressing. Once again, I hope that when I see you again, you're actually in better shape than when I saw you last. Yeah.
Now, Adam, you seem like a young man to me. Are you old enough to remember Blockbuster Video? Did you ever go on a Blockbuster Video?
46 years old. I remember Blockbuster Video. I remember Betamax.
Do you remember how Blockbuster Video was packed on a Friday night?
Yeah. This is very much a great analogy. Like, this is the Netflix of fitness.
Absolutely.
It really is.
Absolutely.
Like, you really, like, if you can make it happen, you should make it happen, because you're not going to learn much about training. You're just going to amplify the knowledge that you already have and be able to deliver it in a different way.
I'm going to quote Adam Blake right now. Guys, don't be Blockbuster. Be Netflix.
Yeah, be Netflix.
Dash Adam Blake. You guys.
That's a collab quote. That's a collab quote, because you
collaborative quote. So that's those points are so right on, Adam. I mean, that's what people out there need to know. So let's talk about clients, because again, we share the same groups. We're in the same groups, and we see that query all the time, right? How do I get clients? Where do my clients go from? Give us an indication of how you were sourcing clients before OTA, if there's a difference, versus sort of what your methodology is now.
Well, in the beginning, it was, there's a term, I think it's positioning versus prospecting, right? So I was very much prospecting. I was going to the message boards, the Craigslist, the Thumbtacks, whatever, anyone was posting jobs. And I was like, getting into that hustle a little bit and trying to get people. And I did okay. And, the gym I work at, like, I'm an independent trainer there, but I would get some clients through there. And now when I believe it or not, like, you probably have people that want to be your clients. They just don't know that you know what you know and that you do what you do to the level that you do it. And one thing I did learn from the OTA was how to leverage social media to present myself to people as a trainer. And, and that definitely helped fill my book up. Right now, gloriously, I'm very content. My book, in quotation, is full. Like, once again, being willing to say no to things. It would be hard for me to take on another client. But I know if I wanted to, I know that using the marketing that I learned in the academy, once again, like, it applies across the board. Like, it's not just a sneaky online marketing system to make you an online trainer. It's an online marketing system that you can use to get in-person clients, or for anything else that you're going to do. Actually, if you want to sell donuts, you could use it, you know? So yeah, that's been now when I was last seeking clients, I used a lot of the stuff that I learned in the OTA, a lot of the, I'm not going to give spoilers away, but a lot of the basics, and they work really well. They work really well.
100%.
Yeah.
So as you're going through things, you know, about your day now, and you utilize those tips that you've gotten from the OTA, would you say that it's simplified, or even not in the extent of process, but just in the quality of your life?
Yes.
Has your stress level reduced? Do you feel more confident on
Yeah.
a daily basis going about the business?
100%. I mean, well, here's the funny thing, right? As long as I stick to the plan, it's great. But I think like a lot of people, sometimes I'll freestyle. When I freestyle, things tend to go the other way. But if I always like pick up the big book, open the book, take a look. Okay, what should I do here? If I follow it, good things happen. Thank you. Yeah, donuts they sell themselves. But yeah, so I'm very happy, man. Like I feel really confident in what I do. I feel very, comfortable in how I do it. A lot of the stuff I learned in the OTA, even actually stuff that does directly apply to training, at least in terms of programming templates and whatnot, that I learned there have made my life a lot easier. They've given me a structure and a framework, which I was lacking a little bit before. Like I said, I felt like I was kind of at a full sprint all the time. I was working in my business, but not on my business. And I learned to take a step back and kind of reassess things and see that, I have a fitness business, but I am not my business. You know what I mean? And to see it from that angle and how to shape it. And yeah, a lot of good stuff that, once again, doesn't necessarily only apply to online training, just applies to fitness business and business in general that I learned. That's been really useful.
One thing that we've learned through sort of these series of live sessions is how going through that process not only affects us as trainers, but the rest of our family, the rest of our household. If you had a significant other, a partner before OTA, and the same now, or even if you didn't, what was the relationship level like prior to OTA? Like, was there stress due to work schedule and things like that?
I mean, if you're a trainer and you're watching this, and you'll probably know the grind, right? Like, you work in the morning, you have the break, you work, you go back in the evening, you work. If your significant other's a 9 to 5, well, you're probably not going to see until like 8, maybe, right? And that sucks. Yeah, and then now I have none of that. Like I specifically have built my schedule to spend as much time with my wife as possible. Like 100%. That was always like my plan. And we went on 3 like fairly lengthy international vacations. We went to London, we went to Hong Kong, and we went to France last year. And I was taking care of clients the whole time. So, still, making money while I slept, right? It's cool. It's cool. It's a cool thing to be able to do.
It absolutely is. There's a lot of indecision in the groups that we both frequent too, whether it's Online Trainers Unite, PTDC group.
Yeah.
We see it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to those people about the idea of trusting your own gut. And how do you apply that?
Well, I think if someone is standing in front of a Lamborghini telling you that they increased their client base from 5 people to 1,500 people in 3 months, they're probably not someone you should do business with, right? Like, I'm not if someone's promising the world to me, I tend to get a little skeptical, right? But if someone's promising me something more reasonable, more realistic, then I tend to listen. And I have to say, I do think if you wanted to scale online training to maybe be the guy with the Lamborghini, you might be able to do it. But I mean, it's a lot more about just giving you Like I would highly recommend the OTA. I'll just get right to it. Like it's simple. It's like a training program, right? Like it's do this and you will adapt in this way. These adaptations will happen, right? And and if you follow it, which I've made the mistake of not, when once again I grabbed and started making it up again, right? And some of it I used, some of it I didn't. And then when I went back and kind of stuck to the plan a lot more consistently, life got a lot better, like my online clients are awesome. Like, because I trained them to be awesome in the way that we interact, in the way that we communicate, with the boundaries that I set. And it's not like I'm sitting in front of my computer 6 hours a day. Like I've planned it out. So I have specific times where I do these specific things. I've set the expectations right. And therefore they trust me, and, they can refer me to other clients because they trust me too. And that's, I would say, like, just give it a shot. Like, take the free material that's out there, read it. It's real. It's real life. It's something that anyone that's a trainer can relate to. And the OTA just provides a simple solution or solutions to all the things that you might be struggling with in that regard.
In regards to, and I want to circle back because there's something that you said earlier on in the conversation that I want to circle back to, because this is, I'm taking some of these questions right out of what I see is the pain points in our groups, things that we see over and over with people asking the same question. And in regards to gaining clients that have a different philosophy than you, you get a client, they want to go all out 100 miles an hour from the jump, and your philosophy is sort of do this, do that. In regards to positioning, which you talked about earlier, which, guys, positioning is basically, well, you can think of it a lot of ways, but people know who you are through your content, correct?
Yes.
And do you find that the more you share who you are in your authentic way, that when you gain a client, they already know what they're in for? They sort of already have bought into the system. You don't have to explain it. Talk to us a little bit about that quick.
Yes. But once again, one thing I realized with online trading as well is that, like I was saying earlier, you are not your business, right? So what I would do with an in-person client, there's certain things I can do. Whereas with an online client, I have to be a lot more upfront about, we're going to do this, right? Like if, like I have, something I like to tell my online clients is I provide strength training programs with a fat loss focus, right? So they know that. They know that we're not going to do a ton of correctives. But then if you're a person who is a corrective exercise person, you could certainly apply that model. But I do think when it comes to online, you have to be a lot more specific about what you do and just focus on being the very best you can at it. In-person training, you can be a little bit more of a generalist, I think, because you have hands-on, eyes-on. It's a different thing, but both have worked wonderfully for me. So online, I will, like, if I'm dealing with an online client, I'll be very upfront about what I offer. If I'm dealing with an in-person client, I can offer a little bit more of a broad base, just general physical preparedness stuff. Is that the question? Did I help?
Yeah, absolutely. And in regards to getting down to that niche, what I've found is that sharing an authentic way, and sort of at first, I was just like what you explained. I took on a lot of different clients. Mm-hmm. But do you feel like it's best to try to figure it out first, or do you feel like it's best just to get the clients, work with them, and let it naturally, sort of organically funnel in? Which do you think makes most sense for the newer OTA?
I think it's most important to get started, and then pay attention, to what you feel comfortable with and what kind of, lights your fire and gets you jazzed up, and what your clients seem to gravitate towards, and then find that kind of sweet spot in the middle. For me, once again, it's strength training with people that want to lose fat and they want simple nutrition approaches, and I'm all about that. So that's great for me. So I mean, just get started, like start putting content out, start writing stuff, and just see what resonates with people. If someone asks you a question, rather than answer that question, say if someone DMs you a question, rather than answer that question in just a DM, present that answer to the world, because they're probably not the only person that has that question, and answer it in a way that's authentic to you. For me, one of the things I do is I reference movies. I use profanity in my content because I use profanity in real life, and I want people to know that that's who I am. And and the music I listen to, I speak about movies, and the more people feel like they get an authentic read on who you are, the more likely they are to want to train with you.
Guys, this has been another recurring theme. If you've seen more than one of these sessions, the recurring theme of authenticity cannot be denied if you're going to reach people through technology. Yeah. Like, they don't get the chance to shake your hand. You know, be as much of who you are as possible. Don't try to pick your personality parts to satisfy, to pacify the people that are out there, because your vibe's going to attract your tribe, right, Adam?
Yeah, 100%. Like, honestly, like, most of the people that I train listen to similar music to me. They like similar movies to me. I can write like some random reference to like Big Trouble in Little China. They'll get it. You know, it's like your people are your people, you know, and with online training, it's a lot easier to distill that down. Whereas someone that walks in the gym, you might have you might be work to find common ground, you know, but in the online, you know, environment, you can present that, you can lead with that, and people will definitely be gravitating towards you because of that.
I love it. Adam, our time is up, my friend.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much for your time. I hope this was helpful.
Man, it was invaluable. Before we let you get away, we've got to ask you, where can the people find you? If they need to link up with you, if they need some information, or if they just want to follow you generally, how can they reach you? How can they follow you?
So the website as it is right now is blakehealthandperformance.com. That's where, you know, there's like, you know, a bunch of articles written, things of that nature. And that will be turning into Lift Weights, Burn Fat fairly soon, but right now it's still blakehealthandperformance.com. So check that out, people. And then I'm on all social medias as Adam Blake 007, because I'm English and I like James Bond.
I'm not sure that you're not James Bond, Adam. To be perfectly honest with you. I've been debating that the whole live session. One more question, because I am in the South. I am in North Carolina, the southeastern U.S. We are known for our Southern drawl and saying y'all. But where's I'm trying to place the accent.
All right, so the accent is originally English. 17 years in New York City though. So I moved to New York when I was 21. So it's like a combination. They call it a mid-Atlantic accent. I guess if there was an island right in the middle, this is what they would sound like.
I love it, guys. So he actually is James Bond. Adam, thanks so much for your time, brother.
It was a lot of fun.
Invaluable information. Guys out there, OTA, PTDC, everybody in the community, if you came back to watch this live session, thank you very much. You got your money's worth today, I'm telling you. If these will eventually be sent down to a podcast, season of podcast. So if you're listening to the podcast right now, thanks so much for listening in your car, your home, or at the gym, or wherever you are. We'll see you guys next time. Adam, again, thanks so much, man. Great talk. And enjoy the rest of your week, my friend.
Thank you, man. Speak to you.